It's going to be a spoiler-filled review for Skeletons in the Closet. If you remember, did a trailer reaction a while back. Very much liked the premise, so let's find out how it was in the execution. I said in the beginning, this is spoiler-filled, so if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. All right, you're here. So just to make sure that we're all on the same page, basically, it's in the 80s, a young girl gets a babysitter to watch her as her parents go out. She is watching a TV show that is one of those old school horror hosts who are watching horror movies. And so you get to see all three of those at different times, and hilarity ensues. So we start out with likes, and gotta give it up, as always, by the way, to Ellie Church. Yes, one of the best actresses out there. It's a tragedy that she is not more widely known. She just keeps nailing it each and every time I see her. So kudos to her, and kudos to Leah Sullivan. Plays the little girl. Not a fan of child actors, you know that. And yet, she did a really good job. I have to give it up to her. And Ellie, of course. Second thing I like, it seems to be something that has been mastered, but don't see it very often on the independent scale. And that's the 80s, period, end of story. It's one thing to get the wood paneling and everything else, but what this film did is it got the TV, the VHS, the scan line. It really kind of went into the woods for, movie fans, for people who watched, movies at the time period. The other thing was the babysitter. Now, I've gone on and on about this before. This came close. It didn't quite get there, but damn, it came close. The one thing that even the big studios always mess up with the 80s is women's hair. They will not give them the radar dish. I don't know if the actresses refuse or if, it violates some sort of environmental law, which it probably does, because there was a whole can of Aquanet. If you didn't use a whole can, you weren't doing it right, from what I understand. So, but the young girl in this, the babysitter, she had it teased up pretty well. So I did enjoy that. And then, the movie within a movie, the movie that the widow, Ellie Church was watching, was also very well done, as very reminiscent of that time period and the types of movies. So there's a danger, and I've seen it happen a lot, that you go and make a movie about a different time period, and maybe even have a movie within a movie without understanding that at different time periods there was different sort of actings, different sort of cameras, different sort of set design, et cetera, and they did a phenomenal job of really replicating the 80s on a fine, detailed level. All right, it is dislikes time, and I gotta say that probably the biggest dislike for me is the fact that I really thought going in, and I liked the idea, that the three would be interwoven beyond just the girls watching the horror host who's watching the movie. It really seemed like there was going to be some, supernatural cross-pollination between the three, and there really, sadly, wasn't. Each stood on their own decently, but I just really thought that if you had somehow breached the boundaries between them, you really could have had something. Certainly something different. Certainly something interesting. And the only other thing I did not like, as much as I liked Leah and her acting, the ending really fell flat. It sort of kind of came out of nowhere. She kills her babysitter, okay. And yet, the whole movie, we'd been floating the idea that a serial murderer had escaped and was actually stalking them. They had a couple perspective shots through the window. It's just kind of dropped after that. If you weren't going to have some kind of payoff, you might have, not have included that. Not a major gripe. Not a major gripe. Whew, it's been a long day. But, nonetheless, they could have definitely tightened that up, and I really would have liked to have seen an interconnection between those three separate things. All right, it is Pinhead time. Well, Ellie and Leah definitely catapulted this. However, the flatness of it and the lack of the interdependency really kind of bent it back. Nonetheless, a good time, definitely worth checking out. So I'm going to give this a 3 Pinhead movie designation. All right, what did you guys think? In the comment section below, you can tell me how awesome Ellie Church is. Am I smitten with her? Well, who knows? Probably not. We'll see. Nonetheless, let me know on the movie as well, because it's definitely worth talking about. And while you're here, boom, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell, ding ding, and like this video.